welcome back to SMP Theory. Today I have a very special episode for you all, a 1,000 subscriber special. So obviously, thank you all so much. It means a ton to me to have 1,000 subs, and I really appreciate each and every one of you who watch these videos and even share your own theories in the comments below. It's super cool. And I am very, very excited about this episode, and we're going to discuss a lot, all about Dream. But before we get into that, if you happen to not be subscribed to the channel, it would be awesome if you could like this video and subscribe. I put a lot of work into this, and if you like it, then that would be awesome. Also, you should join the Discord if you haven't already. I've been advertising it in the past few videos, but it's very cool, very fun. We come up with our own little theories on there, and I think you would like it. But anyways, yes, today we are talking all about Dream, from the start of the SMP to now, and how he's changed over time, because oh boy, he has changed a lot. So I say we start off from the very beginning of the Dream SMP lore, and go from there. Dream started off the SMP himself, with the help of a few of his close friends, but lore didn't really begin to kick off until Tommy and Wilbur joined. The first time we get a real taste for Dream and who he is as a character happened when he took Tommy's discs. Now, this seems to be kind of a fun way to mess around at first, but things started to grow into big problems very quickly. A main trait that Dream has seemed to hold from the beginning is that he needs control. It appears like he has to have order and apparent happiness, but only when he's controlling it and when everything's going his way. Now, the one person who really challenges this control for the first time is Wilbur Soot. He decides to make his own nation separate from the Dream SMP called L'Manberg. Now, things start to get really interesting. A piece of that control Dream loves so much is being stripped away from him. He almost seems to have created this hierarchy in his mind, with him being at the top of the ladder, which makes some sort of sense considering the server is named after him, and he's pretty much the one who started it. He starts off this lore seeing himself as so much greater than everybody else, which sticks with him through the many arcs we've seen. Now, the people who he saw as his civilians, the one who were under his control, or government one might say, were leaving him to form L'Manberg. So, Dream and his country of sorts declare war on the new country of L'Manberg. I think it's interesting that Dream was the one who declared this war. It kind of shows his character's confidence. He felt this confidence that he would win against L'Manberg, and this sort of ego continues to be seen throughout this war in particular. This sort of god complex that Dream has seems to really start from the very beginning, and as you'll see, it doesn't go away, and it appears to kind of be the main reason his character does what he does throughout the series. Anyways, L'Manberg and the Dream SMP go to war, all for there to be a traitor on L'Manberg's side. Eret. Clearly, Dream doesn't see anything wrong in doing whatever it takes to regain this power and control, no matter how many people he hurts. So let's think about that for a minute. Dream sees control as rightfully his. It's like if a little kid was the first to get a toy. They wouldn't want to give it up because they see it as theirs, even if it was meant to be shared by everyone. Dream sees this server as his creation, like everything that has and ever will happen on it is thanks to him, so he deserves the control. That's what makes Dream such a good bad guy, not that everything he does doesn't make sense and is plain evil, rather the fact that it makes too much sense to Dream, so he's never going to want to stray from that mindset and need for power. Eventually, Dream uses that high confidence of his and accepts a deal from Tommy to have a bow duel that can determine the winner of this war. Now, at this point, Dream's technically won the war, so why does he take this high-risk gamble to lose it all? For the discs. For the power. Dream has no reason to be connected to two random discs, but he still risks losing an entire war for one of them. To Tommy, these discs meant nostalgia, happiness, memories with Tubbo, and that's why Tommy obsesses over them and has made them a part of his identity. Dream cares about them because they give him power over Tommy. He saw how hard Tommy fought to get them back after Dream took them the first time, and he knows that having these discs can forever be used to his advantage. He wants them so he can have back what he took away but was unsuccessful in keeping away from Tommy. He sees the discs as something that he lost, something he needs to get control of again for his pride. That is why he risks this win and ends up getting the disc. But it also explains that when Tommy ends up offering both discs for L'Manberg's independence, Dream says yes.
Wilbur, I've secured our independence.
You what?
What? How? What?
What? How? What did you do? How did you negotiate this?
I gave him the discs, Will. I gave him the discs.
You gave up your discs?
All of them?
Oh, all of them! Shut up, Eric! Yeah, all of them.
It sets his main priorities as character. He's smart. He knows that if he doesn't give L'Manberg independence, they're still gonna want to be free. It isn't gonna end up going well for Dream in the long run to have a bunch of people in the country who hate you. But having power over Tommy in the long run and still having your civilians somewhat like you for giving them independence means he really kind of has a lot more power. And he gets to keep that control and responsibility he loves so much, just a lot more indirectly. Now, although he goes about it in some really weird ways, this control that he wants makes sense to start out, and L'Manberg starts its independence arc. Eventually, the L'Manberg elections begin, and Dream seems to support Schlatt for president over Wilbur and Tommy, and Schlatt ends up winning the presidency. But Dream's investment has never been in people, rather in himself. He quickly sides with Pogtopia and goes against his endorsement of Schlatt simply for his own benefit. Dream's ideal of one big happy family that he always talks about was the only reason he really did anything at this moment. He wanted everyone to be in unity under his control. He thought Schlatt was too overpowering, too ambitious, so he realized to achieve unity on the server, he had to support Pogtopia. Again, we see his ego coming into play. It could be reasonably stated that Dream wants happiness in this big family, and that's the only reason he does what he does here, but I think that as things continue forward, that hope for peace slowly becomes a hope for chaos, but we'll discuss that soon. Anyways, Dream ends up providing Wilbur with TNT and supports him in his plan to destroy L'Manberg, as that would obviously achieve his goal. But then Dream stayed neutral, switched sides, did a lot of confusing stuff during this war. Apparently, it's all to get that happy family. He changed his thoughts and decided that it would be easier to take Manberg down by befriending them instead of helping the enemy. But then the 16th came. As L'Manberg was blown to smithereens by Wilbur, Dream just laughed and was filled with complete joy.
What? Oh my god! Yes!
Here is where things really start to go downhill for him, in my opinion. He confused the idea of a big happy family and the idea of him being in control. He saw them as one and the same, when clearly being under Dream's control was not what many SMP members wanted. So he saw the destruction and chaos of L'Manberg as gaining him power, and in turn people being together and happy, when that was really the opposite of true. Then we reach Season 2 Dream, someone who has confused chaos, power, and happiness, and who has also made George king of the SMP, which is important to know later. The season starts with Tommy setting fire to George's house with the help of his accomplice Ranboo. Tommy gets caught for doing this, and since George is the king of the Dream SMP, and he and Dream are close friends, Dream is very angry about this. Now, this whole arc is really interesting to me, because even without either of Tommy's discs, Dream still has massive influence over other people on the server. He builds obsidian walls and tells Tubbo that he, as the new president of L'Manberg, needs to decide a good fate for Tommy. But this seems to be merely the illusion of choice. Once Tubbo chooses probation for Tommy, it was clear Dream wasn't happy, but Tommy fought back, claiming he would burn the leather of Dream's dead horse, Spirit. This, again, seems to be another moment of realization for Dream that really, really influences his character. He tells Tommy he doesn't care about Spirit, and Tommy loses this leverage over him.
I don't care about Spirit. Spirit was my horse. Died ages ago. I care about your disc, because that's what gives me power over you and your friends and everybody that you care about, because you care about your disc more than anyone else here. So if you are not exiled from L'Manberg, I will build these walls until they've reached this block limit.
Which leads to Tommy being exiled by the hands of Dream and Tubbo as well. All Dream needed to do was say that he didn't care about something that Tommy thought was so powerful. Dream learned that attachment isn't good. He learned in that moment that having sentimental value on things like Spirit's leather just makes him weaker. And so this, I believe, is the moment he really started to understand that. and pretty much everything Dream is or learns, he blows out of proportion to a dangerous extent. The need for control blew up into him burning, exploding, and betraying people, and now this need to rid himself of attachment would grow from objects to people to himself far more quickly than we ever could have imagined. Now, on to what I think is the most interesting time for Dream's character so far, Tommy's exile. But first, let's establish what we know going into this. Dream's want for a big happy family and for full unity among the SMP has turned into a craving for control and chaos, and he's slowly beginning to let go of the things that used to matter to him to increase his power. It's also good to note that at this point, Dream sees nothing wrong with what he's doing. He believes Tommy is the one causing all the chaos on the server, and he's the one making peace, which he stated multiple times throughout this arc. So not only is he doing all these terrible things, but he sees them as good in his eyes. Also, during this exile arc, we saw Dream telling George that he should step down as king of the Dream SMP. This made George pretty angry, and it also made Dream's other friends, Quackity, Karl, and Sapnap, angry. This was the start of Dream cutting off his attachment to his friends, and this continues to happen until eventually he loses all of his friends completely. But while all of this is going on, Tommy is stuck in exile. Dream visits Tommy nearly every day of his exile, but he really steps his manipulation up to the next level for this, making Tommy put his armor and most of his belongings into a hole for him to destroy it every time he saw him, making sure Tommy didn't go back to L'Manberg and keeping a close eye on him. His dedication to all of this was huge, and it eventually made Tommy see Dream as a friend, because he was all Tommy had. Dream never really seems to care for other people, and does everything for his own benefit. He even makes Tommy think no one cared about him in exile because no one came to his beach party, when in reality, the invitations were just never delivered. So even though it seems like he doesn't care about others, Dream tries really hard to get other people like Tommy to care for him, to not see through his manipulation, as it would give Dream much more power. However, Tommy eventually pulls himself out of Dream's dangerous grip and runs off to Technoblade's house. But, of course, Dream would never give up that easily. He continuously goes looking for Tommy at Techno's house, but Techno protects Tommy. However, Techno does admit to Dream that he would give Tommy to him if Dream chose to cash in his favor. Now, in case you didn't know, the Butcher Army, which was made up of multiple members of L'Manberg, tried to take Technoblade and execute him, but Dream provided Techno with a Totem of Undying, which saved his life, as long as Techno promised one favor to Dream, which Dream could use at any time. Techno agreed, so Dream had an option to use this favor to get Tommy. However, he doesn't take this offer, and instead says he has a plan for his favor from Techno already. So what on earth could be more important to Dream than having Tommy back under his complete control?
Unless, of course, you want to call in that favor.
I think I have something in mind for that later, so I'll keep it as long as you're sure.
Well, at this point, it's still unknown what his original plan to use this favor was, as he hasn't actually used it yet, but I have some ideas about it that I'll theorize on later. Anyways, Dream lets Techno and Tommy leave and is happy just knowing Tommy's whereabouts. But soon, the Green Festival comes around. The Butcher Army was mad at Dream for giving Technoblade an escape from their execution, so they had a plan to create a festival, and disguise the truth of their plan to murder Dream with this festival concept. L'Manberg's law of no armor was one Dream said he would finally respect for what he thought was a celebration, and the Butcher Army was finally going to be able to kill him. Except that when Dream arrived, he had on full netherite, and he had something to show the people of L'Manberg. The community house had been blown up, and according to Dream, this was Tommy's doing. The community house was the oldest build on the server, and it meant a lot to a lot of people. But Tommy and Techno happened to be spying on this event, and Tommy appeared putting on his armor and limiting his invisibility to defend himself. He claimed that it wasn't him, but once him and Tubbo saw one another, things started to get heated. At this point, Dream had one of the discs and Tubbo had the other. Dream used Tommy blowing up the community house to try and convince Tubbo to give Dream the second disc, and a huge argument broke out between Tommy and Tubbo about this. If you really think about it though, Dream caused all of this, and this fight between Tommy and Tubbo was all part of the plan. Dream wanted both discs back to have complete control over Tommy, since Tommy was going against Dream and doing things like leaving his exile. So Dream blew up the community house and blamed it on Tommy as a way to make Tubbo think and to convince him that Tommy was a bad person. He used this one event in hopes it would trigger Tubbo and Tommy's feelings of anger towards one another, and Tubbo would give Dream the second disc. And this plan worked perfectly. After a bit of fighting and Dream convincing Tubbo that he was their friend, that he only wanted to help L'Manberg while Tommy wanted to cause chaos, Tubbo handed over the disc. Suddenly, things flipped, and Dream revealed the truth, telling Tubbo he was a horrible leader who was practically being governed by everyone else on the server to do things rather than being independent.
Tubbo.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me the disc. I just want to say that you're an idiot.
What?
You are an absolute idiot. And you have no power, and you are the worst president that has ever been president of the land, because you're no president at all! No, listen! You're not even president!
Sucks.
You're not even president! Quackity is more president than you. I'm more president of L'Manberg than you. You get pushed around by everybody on the server.
Yeah,
because
tell 'em.
you are an idiot. You are a buffoon. You are a fool. You fall
You're a
for
coward.
everything. You just gave me the one thing that I needed to destroy L'Manberg. I don't care about L'Manberg. I don't care about anything. I've said this before.
At this moment, everything Dream had been planning all to get his control back came together. He used a fake friendship with Tubbo and the heat between Tommy and Tubbo to get the second disc. And then, Techno was betrayed by Tommy, because Tommy and Tubbo made up, leaving Technoblade mad as he had protected Tommy so vigorously. So, Dream again took advantage of the situation, and for his own gain, convinced Technoblade to help him blow up L'Manberg. And that's exactly what the two of them did. From the very beginning, Dream wanted complete control of the people from the Dream SMP, of his SMP. He used things like the discs to gain leverage, but in the first war of the SMP, Dream had to give up L'Manberg and give it its independence to get the discs. Now, he has both a destroyed nation and the two items his biggest threat loved the most, the discs. And he's happy. He sees this as his big, happy family he's been hoping for, whereas everyone else sees this as disaster. But of course, Dream isn't done yet. He goes away for a little while, seemingly to let things settle down, and then asks Tommy and Tubbo to meet him at some random coordinates if they want the discs back. The two of them do this, and Dream decides to fake them out. He uses fake discs and shows them just how easily he could get them so scared over the discs that in actuality meant nothing to them. This is that ego Dream's character has had from the beginning coming back. He loves the idea of showing people just how powerless they are against him, seemingly more than anything else.
That wasn't even the disc.
Wait.
Oh my gosh. That's just how powerless you are. That's not even the disc. I'm just playing with you. That's not even the disc. Neither of these are the discs. I'll just, here, go take them. Fine. Take them. I'll blow them up. I don't care. Neither of these are the discs. These are fake discs. You think I'd actually play the disc in front of you?
Because he then takes them down to his lair, where the real discs are, and where a lot of other things are too. Dream seemingly has a giant collection of all the things people are attached to on the server that he stole or is attempting to steal and keeping from them. Dream used this idea of attachment he first learned about when Tommy tried to use Spirit against him, and figured if he could so easily manipulate Tommy with some discs, he could manipulate everybody to do his bidding. It is very much turned from Dream being the one keeping peace and order through control to Dream being the one who craves control so much that no peace is made and Dream's empathy simply just doesn't exist. Dream then goes on to tell Tommy that he's gonna kill Tubbo. He needs Tommy for attachment purposes, for keeping the server under his power and for keeping everything going smoothly. But he doesn't need Tubbo. Now, obviously, the act of killing somebody and all of this manipulation Dream has done is very plainly evil, but the reason I find his character so interesting is because this evil came from typical values and wants that got twisted beyond repair and turned Dream into this villain who uses those original values to excuse his wrongdoings. But luckily, the rest of the server, led by Puns, hops in through another portal and stops Dream before he gets too far. And then Tommy kills him. Twice. And as Tommy goes in to try and kill him for the final time, to get rid of his final canon life, Dream stops him. And he admits he has a revival book. Dream somehow obtained a book that brings people back to life, and if they kill Dream, well then death on the server becomes permanent. People like Wilbur can't come back.
You just lied, Dream. You lied to me.
I fought with J Schlatt. J Schlatt gave me a book, okay? And it has how to bring people back to life. But only I have the book. He died. He's the only other person that knew. I have the book. That's what he gave. He said if I fought on his side, he'd give it to me.
Dream, you just lie. There is no
Tommy,
reason.
if I die, then death is permanent.
So, instead, they lock him up in prison. A prison Dream built with the help of Awesam Dude that was apparently meant for Tommy before, but something interesting to note here is that Dream had a talk with Puns before all of this actually ended up happening, saying he was going to go away for a little while, and he needed Puns to pretend to be his enemy, but secretly to be on his side. However, later Tommy offered Puns a lot of stuff to kind of switch sides and help take out Dream, so it isn't really clear what Puns is really fighting for when he enters that portal. But it is very much possible that at this point, Puns and Dream were planning for Dream to end up in the prison, and that if this is the case, then the future of the prison might be a bit of a scary one. But Season 2 ends with Dream locked up in the inescapable prison, and Season 3 picks up right where we left off. Before, Dream was all-powerful. He had everything he could have ever wanted. Now, he isn't even a threat to Tommy, let alone the server as a whole. But he does have quite a lot of enemies. The 4 people who visited him in the prison, who I think are in the most need of discussion today, are Tommy, Ranboo, Sapnap, and Quackity, as I think each visit kind of revealed different things about Dream's character in the season, so we're going to be talking about those. Let's start off with Tommy. The first time Tommy visits Dream, Dream tries to use his exile tactics again. He talks about how they were friends, and how he hopes Tommy can help him and understand that he's sorry for what he did. Tommy sort of gives in to this, but over time he rejects this after he remembers the trauma Dream caused him to go through in exile. So Tommy decides to make a final visit to Dream so that he never has to deal with him again, but something goes wrong. An explosion goes off, and the prison has to go into lockdown, so Tommy and Dream are stuck together. And it seems that during this time they kind of just acted like irritated siblings. Obviously, they fight a lot about things of the past, but they seem to tolerate each other, at least for a while. I think this has to do with Dream leaving his attachments behind. He got rid of all the things he cared about, including his best friends. So having someone to be with him, even if it's by force, is something that he's happy to experience again. But then Tommy starts to doubt Dream's revival book. So, as any villain would do, Dream kills Tommy and revives him a few days later to show him that it's real. He did this to prove himself. He wanted people to see that he was still powerful and capable of ruining everybody on the server. And when Tommy leaves the prison to go tell people this tale of Dream having the ability to revive people, this influence and fear around Dream increased, while he is just sitting in the prison, which is exactly what he wanted to happen. Now, Tommy and people like Tubbo and Ranboo are planning to kill Dream once and for all, and I guess we'll see what happens with them. But I next want to talk about Ranboo, because Ranboo's prison visit is very different from the others. When he enters, Dream acts weird, claiming that he and Ranboo are great friends, and then he starts to refer to himself in the third person. And eventually, it's uncovered that Ranboo is dreaming, and that this isn't actually Dream at all, but when Ranboo goes to see Dream in the prison for real, Sam tells him he's been there a lot before, and that he even brought a journal in with him when he visits Dream, but Ranboo doesn't remember these times going to visit Dream at all. Now, it's also seen from the end of Sapnap's visit that Dream is very aware of a control he has over Ranboo. If Ranboo sees Dream's signature smile, he'll go into his enderwalking phase and seemingly go to help Dream. And this voice in Ranboo's head constantly telling him that he's been helping Dream, and it apparently told him that Ranboo blew up the community house. To me, it made me think that maybe Dream uncovered this kind of control of Ranboo around the time the community house blew up. So, Ranboo, under Dream's control, is the one who blew up the community house, and Ranboo's mind is trying to explain to him all that he is doing when Dream takes over his mind. It could also be a possibility that Dream controlling Ranboo made him create that explosion that put the prison on lockdown in order to force Tommy and Dream to be stuck together in the cell. So, we have Tommy trying to kill him, Ranboo seemingly unknowingly working for him, and now there's even more to get into. Something else to touch on really quickly is in Sapnap's dream during his actual prison visit, he told Dream that if Dream escaped the prison, Sapnap would be the one to hunt him down and kill him himself.
Dream, if you try and break out early, you only have one life left, okay? And, I don't think it's gonna be Tommy. It's not gonna be Techno Dream. If you break out of this prison, it's gonna be me who takes your final life. And that's not because I have any resentment towards you or anything. But it's because this is where you need to be, dude.
This is really important because it shows Dream what he lost. Sapnap used to be his best friend, and during the stream, Dream claimed to be on some sort of strike. He didn't even talk to Sapnap. Maybe he couldn't really bear the thought of all he had before and all that he gave up for power. Maybe it was a difficult trade in his eyes, but one that had to be done. Anyways, to end it off, we have the Quackity prison visit. I'm only going to briefly touch on this since a new lore stream from Quackity is coming soon, and that can quickly change things, but Quackity's lore stream basically ended with him entering the prison and, with permission by Sam, torturing Dream in hopes of getting the secret to revival out of him. The stream then implies that Quackity's plan is to go and torture Dream every single day until he gets what he wants out of him. When Quackity begins this torturing of Dream, Dream sounds genuinely scared. This is one of the only times where Dream doesn't have the upper hand, and I think Quackity doing this might have a lot of repercussions on Dream's character going forward, which maybe we'll see in the upcoming lore streams.
Sam!
You can scream for Sam all you want, Dream.
He didn't, there's no way, how did you sneak it in?
Alright, you know what? There's been enough talking. Dream.
Alright, now since there is just so much Dream to discuss, I'm going to do a lightning round of things that I'm going to touch on, but I don't want to go into full detail about, so here we go. First, Dreamins. Dreamins are basically these strange demon things that apparently possess Dream, and he had to have an exorcism performed on him to get them removed. I do think that these might have a possibility of coming into the lore as they're discussed occasionally this season, so be on the lookout for things surrounding Dreamins. I also think there's a potential they're related to Dream XD, so pay attention to all that. Next, remember that Dream still has Techno's favor, and it is likely that Ranboo, a potential Wilbur revival, Quackity's torture, Techno's favor, and all the other things going on right now could just come together for one big lore stream where things really get started. So just remember that Techno's favor is likely going to be important soon to help Dream do something in the prison. Lastly, Dream was on Ranboo's stream one night, and he actually talked a lot about the lore, and one thing he talked about was big lore coming up is something that we wouldn't expect, something that isn't typical, that all of the clues that we've seen so far might seem to line up to one thing, but they could also line up to another, and that's what's really going to happen. So let me know your thoughts on what could really happen next in the comments if you have any ideas, because I am very excited to see. Okay, so that is my dream character analysis. Somebody who took responsibility and the need to have power to an extreme and became a tyrant, who then left everything he loved behind for that power, and is now sitting in a prison being tortured every single day, yet it still seems like he has a big plan to regain this power coming soon. So I guess we'll see what's up next for Dream and his character. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I had a super fun time with this one since there's just so much to unpack, but just be ready for when things start to get big with the lore because I have a feeling it's gonna be awesome. Alright, thank you again for all the support recently. I really, really do appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!